opportunity to be here. Speak to us, therefore, Lord, so that by the time we leave this place, we will be better servants in your vineyard. We ask this in Jesus' name. Amen. So yesterday we took time, talked a little bit about entrepreneurship and skill acquisition. And we said it's a very relevant topic to us Christians because of who we are in the world and what we should be doing the time that God has given us to be here. And I'm sure we all know that we are not going to be here forever. It's a time given to us to be here. We saw yesterday that our lives are like candles that have been lighted. And once you light a candle, whether you use it or not, it's finishing. And that's why some of us are going around trying to educate people about who you are and why you are. And we saw that every person born into the world is an entrepreneur. Because we saw and defined entrepreneurship as problem solving. So an entrepreneur is a problem solver. So how are you a problem solver? That we should be talking to you about entrepreneurship. But for you to solve problems, you need skills. And that's why the two words come together, entrepreneur and a skill acquisition. We saw yesterday also that these two must go together, and we really need to understand them because being an entrepreneur is talking about the person. But when we talk of skills, it's things we acquire to use to live the life of entrepreneurship. And the current situations that we have ourselves in as a people in Nigeria, this issue of unemployment. That's why I said I was excited to be here because I'll be speaking mostly to young people who are still going through the school process to graduate. And there are many of them out there that have graduated. I'm told NYSC now has how many streams? That's so many of them going through the system, the scheme. And so, government has come up with programs that will help to perhaps get these people engaged in terms of finding a job to do. And because so many finish no jobs. One of the things that we have come up with, or government has come up with, or society has come up to address this issue is the issue of skills acquisition. And we have so many of these programs going on. And I told them yesterday that some of us went into these trainings with this adage that if you give a man fish, you feed him for a day. But if you teach him how to fish, you feed him for what? You feed him for lifetime. Well, I'm here this morning to tell you that is not true. Everybody's thinking, where is this man coming from? How do you? Because it has been long, we've been talking about it, is that not so? Believe me, if all you do is teach a man how to fish, give him a net, he will sell it to buy fish. And that's what we've been seeing happening. So many skill acquisition training programs going on, and they are given starter packs. But what do? They sell them. That's selling net to buy fish. And so we found the missing link. And that's the thing we talked about extensively yesterday. That before you get a person to be an entrepreneur, to live the life of an entrepreneur, which we should as Christians, because we are born to be entrepreneurs, you must first make him an entrepreneur. And so, yes, it's true that if you give a man fish, you feed him for a day. But if all you do is teach him how to fish, he won't go far. What he needs, or what you need to do, is make him an entrepreneur. There's a difference between making a man to be and teaching him how to. And we discussed that extensively yesterday. So we realized that before you talk of even giving a person money or capital to start businesses, as we're talking, make sure the person is an entrepreneur, person who can solve problems. Unfortunately, at a time problem, I don't know how long I have, but I will just run through what we talked about yesterday using a case study, using a story of somebody who had the issues, because yesterday we looked at the fact that Christians must be entrepreneurs because we are sent into the world. As I sat down there, I was looking at the windows and I saw that the 7 mountains of influence, that is it. You know, there are 7 mountains of influence. Those are the controlling cultures in the world. And whoever controls those 7 mountains controls society. And God is sending us as Christians into each of these mountains. And what's expected, we'll go there to solve problems, we'll go there to control what's going on there. That's what changes society. Unfortunately, we don't understand that, many of us. So, I want very briefly to answer some of the questions we discussed yesterday and then go into a case study that will reveal to us and confirm what we were talking about yesterday, that before you get a man to do anything, it doesn't start with skills. It starts with the person first. And we saw that very clearly yesterday by the example of the army, that when you join the army, the idea of recruiting you into the army is that you are going to fight war, no doubt about that. And you need a gun to do that. But they don't start with the gun, because the gun does not make a person a soldier. You have to become a soldier first before they give you a gun to fight war. True or false? Very true. We explained yesterday the process they do. So we saw yesterday that for any person to be a person who can do something, there are 3 things that must be in place. And we said every human being can be divided into 3. And it's when these 3 parts are in order that the person is functional or is good to function well in life. And the 3 parts are the head, the heart, and the hands. And somebody asked, how about the legs? We saw that wherever the head goes, the legs go. So the major thing, if you want to change a human being, you want to have him do something, you must have the head correct, the heart, and the hands. And we discussed yesterday, the head is concerned with what? Knowledge, thinking. The heart, character. The hands, skills. And we said because we have 2 hands, that means there are 2 types of skills that you need to do anything. And so when it comes to getting people to be entrepreneurs, they need to have the head of an entrepreneur, the heart of an entrepreneur, and then the skills that will enable them solve problems. Because entrepreneurs are people who provide solutions to problems. For you to be able to provide solutions to problems, you must have an understanding of what a problem is. You must have the heart that will give you the strength to withstand derailment forces that come on you when you get into society to do anything. And then skills are what enables you to cause the thing to happen, because we live in a cause and effect world. So, quickly, let's go into the Bible. At least somebody will say, I came to church today, they didn't read the Bible at all. So, let's look at the Bible for a case study of how a person had a problem and he or she was taken through steps. And it started first with confirming that the person is right before they even talk about what to do. I think there's another thing again we said yesterday that I'm trying to miss, and I think I need to bring it in. The subject of Christians having resources. and the fact that it is through being entrepreneurs that you can have access to resources. And we use money as the resource that we are talking about. And for us as Christians, money is a resource that we need as we live in the world to do the work God has given us. So I'm going to use the example of money. Somebody who had a problem of money. And when she was being helped to get the money, the first thing we will notice is that the person was not given money, but the person was given a problem to solve. Because once you can solve problems, you will never be short of money, because money is a reward for problem solving. Those who speak Hausa, kudi sheda nunango dia. So if you lack money, simply that's a revelation of the fact that you are not solving problems. The more people you can solve problems for, the more money you can get. So let's turn to 2 Kings chapter 4. Yeah, they will show it for us on the board. 2 Kings chapter 4, verses 1 to 7. A certain woman of the wives of the sons of the prophets cried out to Elisha, saying, "Your servant, my husband, is dead. And you know that your servant feared the Lord. And the creditor is coming to take my 2 sons to be his slaves." So Elisha said to her, "What shall I do for you? Tell me, what do you have in the house?" And she said, "Your servant or your maidservant has nothing in the house but a jar of oil." Then he said to her, "Go borrow vessels from everywhere from your neighbors. Empty vessels, do not gather just a few. And when you have come in, you shall shut the door behind you and your sons. Then pour into all those vessels and set aside the full ones." That's pour the oil into the vessels. The one that is full, put it aside. Yes, so she went from him and shut the door behind her and her sons, who brought the vessels to her, and she poured it into. Now it came to pass when the vessels were full that she said to her son, "Bring me another vessel." And he said to her, "There is no other vessel." So the oil ceased. Then she came and told the man of God, and he said, "Go sell the oil and pay your debt, and you and your sons live on the rest." This story contains the secret of what we want to see Christians know and do. This is how, if it comes to empowerment, what we call economic empowerment, the secret is here. This is the strategy that we must adopt, or we should adopt, when it comes to changing the lots of people economically. First, let's look at that story. Let's start from verse 1. We are told the man is a prophet. Is that not so? He's a Christian. But he lived poor because we are told he borrowed money. And from the story, it's clear that he didn't borrow to do business. Because if he had borrowed to do business, he might have left behind some assets. But he didn't leave anything except the wife and the children. We saw yesterday that as Christians, we need money. Because Ecclesiastes 10:19 says something. It says, "Money answereth all things." Many people think once you have money, because of that verse, you have the answer to everything. No, that's not what that verse is saying. Simply, what that verse is saying, money as a resource shows up in everything you will do in the world. Money as a resource. So it's not saying when you get money, you have the answer to everything. No, as a resource. So that means, as Christians, we need money. It's a resource. Everything that you will do in this world, you will need money. When I go to churches, I usually ask that question. Tell me one thing that you can do without money. And I've heard people say many times in some of the churches, prayer. Tell me how you need money to pray. And I said, bros, if you've not eaten, you go fit pray. The Bible way they read, not be money printer. Money as a resource, we need it. And that's why being entrepreneurs, being problem solvers, is key to your functioning in the world, because that's what will give you access to money. As Christians, you need money, because Genesis 6, just write down those passages. That's why I hope everybody, as the chaplain was saying, was this secretary, you need to come with paper and write. Because they say the shortest pencil is longer than the longest memory. These things that I'm saying, you go back and try to look at them again, please, because they're necessary. Okay? As Christians, we saw yesterday that you need money to live in this world and fulfill your purpose. Genesis chapter 6. Go read the story of Noah. God gave Noah an assignment. He asked him to construct an ark. And if you read the whole of that chapter, he told him to construct this ark. He gave him even specifications of the type of wood to use. But there's nowhere in that passage where God gave Noah the wood. Which means if Noah did not have the resources to buy the wood, his assignment could have been left undone. And there are many of us Christians who will live, go through life, and not fulfill our purpose for lack of resources. So you need to know how to get this thing called money and know how to use it in the way that God will be glorified, because it is a resource. You need it to live, to fulfill your purpose. We saw again in Ecclesiastes chapter 9, verses 14 to 16, that there was a small city that was attacked. And that there lived in that town a wise man, but poor. And so they didn't even care about him at all, because they knew that if they had contacted him, that guy knew what to do for them to win the war, or to at least defeat the enemy. But that they did not refer to him because he's poor. And the Bible says the wisdom of the poor is despised. And I was telling them about a story I heard somewhere. There was this man who, the wife was the one taking care of things in the house, but he wasn't working. So they went for a meeting, and people were putting up their hands, making contributions. So the man put up his hand to also make his contribution. And the wife turned, looked at him and said, put down your hand. When people, they talk, there are people like you. Friends, even in your own house, if you can't provide for your family, what happens? They will look down on you. We said automatically, if the younger brother is richer than the senior, he automatically becomes what? If meeting, they get family meeting. If the younger guy has not come, meeting not going to start. But if you are there or you are not there, it doesn't matter. Let's go, he will come. So Christians need resources, not for anything, but that it will give us access to the world. The reason why the church has not had impact, why we've not been able to influence society, is because we lack. We lack. Entrepreneurship is key. Skills are key because they give us access to the world to have these resources that we need to do the work that we're expected to do. We saw yesterday also Matthew 25, from verses 31 to 46. We are told that at the end, we are all going to appear before God, isn't it? Some on the left, some on the right. And I was asking them yesterday, all those who will want to be on the left on that day, stand up, let me see you. Let me ask the same question here. I'm sure we know that story, don't we? So all those who would want to stand on the left on that last day, please stand up. Let me see you. Hello? Did you hear me? Nobody is standing up. Nobody wants to stand up to be there on that day. I was telling them yesterday, I went to a church and I asked this question, and nobody stood up like this. Then one fellow put up his hand and I said, yes, sir. Do you want to be there on the left on that day? He said, no, it's not about that. The truth is that we know what is going to happen to those who will stand on the left. And you can see that none of us is standing up. You are the only one standing up. Maybe Nadia you won't go. So anytime I ask that question, I always want to find a place to sit down. Because believe me, even my enemy, I would not want him to be there. Because he said they are going to where? Where are they going to? Hell. And the hell is not a place to go at all. The description of hell, from what we read in the Bible, it's a terrible place. But the question is, what did they do that they ended up on the left? Have you ever thought about that? Because they asked that question, isn't it? Why are we on the left? What did Jesus say? Jesus said, please move to verse what? Let's see. Where they were asking. Okay, then he said to those on the left hand, depart, those are the ones who will go to hell. But the reason for why they were on the left is that when he was hungry, they didn't feed him. He had no clothes, they didn't clothe him. In hospital, they didn't visit him. And I asked the question, which of those things that Jesus said those on the left didn't do, can you do in today's world if you don't have money? Hello? Which of them can you do without money? So this subject of money is not an option. It's something that we must know how to get. Is that not true? Hello? Is that not true? Very true. And so, let's look at how to get it. We need to know how to get it. Because without it, we can't function well in the world. And not only in the world, even when we get there. We even used one passage yesterday, Matthew 19, 21, 22, where the rich young man asked Jesus, he wants eternal life. And Jesus told him, say, commandments, that's why I don't appear. I don't obey them since when I was a young person. And Jesus said, oh yeah, go sell what you have, give it to the poor, and what will happen to you? You will have treasures where? In heaven. That thing shook me because if I look at the way we live, many of us Christians, we are going to get to heaven and find empty accounts. Because many of us are only struggling to survive on our own. We don't care about any other person. And if you ask some people who said, myself, I need help. But we are told that whatever you give to a poor, your account is being credited in heaven. Which means many of us are going to get there and find empty accounts. One of the reasons is you said you don't have. But we discovered that there's no shortage of anything in the world. Money inclusive. So when you don't have money, it's not that there is scarcity of money. It's just that money does not go where it is needed. Money goes where it is attracted. And you attract money with what? Solutions to problems. That's why being an entrepreneur is key to your survival in the world and the life to come. It's a subject that you cannot joke with. So let's look at this story, 2 Kings chapter 4, that we looked at, or that we read, which is key to our knowing how to live in this world, what we are expected to have to be able to function in the world, have access to this thing called money that we're talking about, use it the way we are supposed to use it for the glory of the kingdom. As I said, you can see very clearly here that this story is telling us something. This man is a prophet. We assume he's a pastor. But he borrowed money. So can you imagine what happened if he had borrowed from an unbeliever? As a pastor, assuming you borrowed from one of your members, and you dare stand up to preach a sermon that has to do with the man, say something, you know what will happen? The man will be waiting for you at the door. Immediately you finish, when you come, you say, Pastor, just to embarrass you. Just to embarrass you. That's why somebody told me that they say, oh God, honestly, if there's anything to be poor, no good. I say, why not? He say, believe me, you as a pastor, like that prophet, as we are told. But thank God for the woman. Because when the man died, now look at it this way again before we even go further. The man died. He left the debt for who to pay? The wife and the children. Now, if your children were to work to pay for your debt, when will they work to live their own life? I tell men, usually I say, look, if you are going to die, no die, leave debt for your family. Because it's the worst thing that can happen to you. This man died and left debt. But thank God for the woman. Thank God for women. Women, clap for yourselves. Well done. Yes. But the issue be said, not be all women good too. Because this particular woman, fantastic woman, she did something that has left history for us and left guidelines for us on how to live and how to even help people in need. How to bring people out of poverty. This woman, when she started looking for, she didn't go to a politician. She didn't go to her relatives. She didn't even go to the bank. She went to who? The pastor, the man of God, prophet. That tells you that for you as a Christian, your way out of lack of the financial situation that we're talking about starts with God. It starts with God. We saw yesterday that the day you became a Christian and you announced to the world that I am now going to be a Christian, the world marks you. And everything that you do, they're after you to make sure you don't succeed. That's why, friends, having signed up to be a Christian, you better be a Christian. Because everything thereafter, if you are not careful, will be destroyed. Satan will go after you and make sure you fail in everything so that he will deter others from wanting to become Christians. I told them yesterday a story of a man who was looking after his cows. They said suddenly the cows started running. So the man climbed a tree to see what thing don't happen. It was this man who no get good leg, one leg. So he was walking like that. So Chikan, malam menene wana. Inza kuidogo, za kajere. Kuna dogo, kuna kajere wana, kuna kore mana shanu. You are going to be tall, be tall. You are not going to be tall, be short, be short. This one way they tall, they short, they drive our cows. If you are going to be a Christian, be a Christian. Because this one where Sunday, now you the lead song, they do everything. Monday to Saturday, now another thing. You will suffer. You will suffer because Satan will make sure he deals with you so that you don't ever try to advertise the kingdom of God. But this woman said the first thing, because when she ran to the prophet looking for help, I want you to note this thing. Is there anywhere in that story where the prophet gave her money? I'm sure if she were to come to the chapel, chapel, prophet, I'm sure, maybe I'm wrong, but where I worship, that's what could happen. The pastor could have said, after the service, please can the elders wait? We have a meeting in the vestry. And when they meet, what are they going to talk about? Did you hear that Mr. So-so-so has died? They say, he died? I said, no, be dead. So he left behind debt. And we have problems, and the wife has come for us to help. He will say, secretary or treasurer, how are our finances? Treasurer will say, okay, you know now, money no deal. You know, we have projects. And then what will happen at the end of the day? They may look for some small envelope and say, Madam, this all, you know, we have issues also, so just take this and see whether it can help you. But is that what happened? No. That is telling us if a person has a money problem and he comes to you and you rush in giving him or her money, you've not helped him. You don't solve money problems with money. You don't start with money. The prophet started by asking the woman certain questions. If you read through, he gave her something to do instead of money. But before he gave her something to do, he asked certain questions. All those questions were to find out who she is. We said yesterday that when it comes to doing anything, it starts first with getting the man right. The man must be right. The man must be correct before anything happens. So he was checking on her. The questions were to find out what kind of a person is she. She has a money problem, not because there's scarcity of money in her society or in her community. She has a money problem because of who she is first before what she is doing. So you don't rush at giving people money or giving them what to do, showing them, okay, go skill acquisition. They'll go and do. They will not be able to do it because of who they are. So he started with the first question. As I said, your first requirement is relationship with God, isn't it? That woman said something that answered that question, so the prophet didn't have to ask. He said, you know your servant loves the Lord. You know your servant fears the Lord, What are the benefits of fearing God when it comes to living in this world and doing anything? Job chapter 1, verses 8, 9. Or you can even read the whole of that chapter 1 of Job. We are told Job fears God. Because when the children of God and the world, they appeared before God and Satan came along with them, God asked Satan, do you know my servant Job? There's no one like him in the world. He fears the Lord. And Satan said something which reveals to us the secret of what you need to know and do and have to be able to function in this world and succeed at whatever you are going to do. He said, have you not created a fence around Job and blessed the works of his hands? Two things that you need to succeed in the world. You need God's protection, God's blessings on whatever you are doing. One thing you need to know is that not only God blesses, Satan also blesses. But only God's blessings that truly blesses and does not add sorrow. That's why you need God's blessings. But you can only get God's blessings if you fear him. So the prophet wanted to confirm that this woman has the requirements of being a person who can succeed before he shows her what to do. Because if you read the story, he gave her something to do. But before then, he needed to confirm who she is. And the woman started off first with this story, this statement, you know your husband, my husband loves the Lord. So he ticked requirement number 1, fear of God. Then he asked her the second question, what do you have? Or what will I do for you? Some of us immediately will say, give me the money and let me go and pay. But you notice how he asked that question. He said, what do you want me to do for you? He didn't stop. He didn't even allow her to answer. He said, what do you have in your house? The solution to your problem is in your house. You came with what you need to deal with all the problems you will ever face in life. And we saw yesterday that every one of us came equipped with talents that, when developed, can be used to solve problems for people. And that's what gives you access to their pocket. The woman said, I have oil. That oil is just indication of what you carry. If I ask some of us here and I said, who are you? What do you have? What you say, most of us will want to portray ourselves as poor as possible so they can help us. Is that not so? We want to look as wretched as possible because we believe that if we say that, that will open the door for them to help us more. But friends, whatever it is you need to deal with the issues you are facing, God has already put in you the day you came. And it's called the talents that you were born with. What you need is to develop the talents and use them to solve problems for people. So the woman said, I have oil. If the woman said, I have nothing, you could have stopped there to help her identify the oil she has. Your oil is the talents, the giftings that you have. And none of us, nobody was born without anything, because God sent you into this world with the solution to a human problem. Yesterday we discussed that. The fact that every one of us is a solution to a human problem. That's why when you pray to God with a problem, God answers by sending you a human being. So you carry a solution to a human problem. The arrival of a human being, the arrival of a baby born, is the arrival of the answer to somebody's prayer. And it's expected that you deliver the message that you came with. And you do that through work, productive living. No wonder. Paul says in 2 Thessalonians chapter 3, verse 10, he said, if a man will not work, he should not what? He shouldn't eat. You must work. And work is what? Providing solutions to human problems. The same thing in Matthew 25, verses 14 to 25, the parable of the talents. The one talent man that hid his talent, he didn't use it. The master said he's a wicked man. Is that not true? He said he's a wicked man. Why? That man can be likened to somebody who, maybe they say, okay, there's a sick man in the hostel. So they gave you some medicine, go and give it to them to heal him. The medicine will heal the person. And you reach there and you refuse to deliver the medicine. And the person dies. Who have you killed? Who killed the man, I mean? You. It's not the disease. Because you have the solution to the disease, but you refuse to deliver it. You are a wicked man. That's why the master described the one talent man as a wicked man. You should have used your talent, he said. He said, the least I expected of you is to have done what? Put it in the bank. Do you know what that means? Every one of us came with a talent. Something that when developed can be used to serve people, to create solutions to problems. Putting your talent in the bank is simply this. When you put money in the bank, does the bank leave the money there? What do? They give it to people who can trade with it. What that verse is saying, that you came with talents. If you can't create business of your own, a means of solving problems for people of your own, work for another person. The least expected of any one of us is that you are working for somebody, but not that you are idle. And that's why it's a sin to prevent somebody from working. Because when you prevent people from working, you stop people from working, you are stopping them from delivering the answer to the questions they came to answer. That's why parents, listen to this. The worst thing you can do in this world, and God will also punish you for it, is to prevent your children from being productive. Let me say it in Hausa. Duk iyayen da suna ma yaran su goyon masara. Kun san goyon masara ko? God will punish you for it because he sent somebody with an answer, he sent somebody with a solution to a problem, and you are preventing the person from delivering that solution. And the person will perish. He will end up not being able to deliver his own solution also. You are obstructing God's counsel, God's purpose. You are doing the same work with Satan. Yes. Because Satan's desire is that you don't fulfill your purpose. So any parent who refuses children from working, or you don't train your children to work, to understand what work is, you are supporting Satan. And that's why we say, Goyo Masara Bakyo. You know Goyo Masara? When you plant maize they grow, no be so? Maize go back her baby. The problem with mama maize, we say, baby go grow gemo, BS. She still dey carry am for back. Yes. With time, what happened? Mama dry up, pikin dry up. Next year, you must sow again. So the same cycle, same issues. Is that the case with mango? No. You plant mango, it grows. Once it starts bearing fruit, when it is ripe, what happens? Come out, give me room, make her have another baby. Not only you. And mango will be there for life. Many years, producing. But maize, every year you must sow. Perpetuating the cycle of poverty. So, the prophet, what do you have? The woman said, I have oil. Do you know what that question? She's checking on her mindset. What kind of a person is this? Because we saw yesterday that the first requirement for productive living, for any person to live in this world and fulfill the purpose for which God brought him, have access to the resources that he needs, money inclusive, is that he has the right mindset. The problem of mind, the starting point is mindset. I asked some people sometimes, I said, do you know why rich people don't want poor people to marry their daughters? Hello? Did you hear that? When some of you come, say, I'll go marry from that family because they are rich and what have you. When you come, the first question the father will ask you is, whose son are you? Where did they come from? He's checking out on where? Your family background. It's not that you are going to eat their money, you are going to waste it. No, that is nothing. Once you know how to make money, you will always have. But their problem is producing grandchildren with poverty mentality. They will destroy everything. So they are avoiding that. The man checked on her mentality. Who is this woman? I have oil. He said, oh, beautiful. Beautiful. He ticked first requirement, relationship with God. She ticked. Is that not so? Second requirement, mindset. Who is she? The woman said, I have oil. He ticked. Then the next issue, he said what? Go to your neighborhood and borrow empty jerry cans. What has that got to do? I need money. It has everything to do with money. You know what that means? He was checking on her relationship with people. Relationship. Money is not with God. You pray to God, give me money. That's wrong prayer. That's why it never get answered. You never wake up in the morning and find a bag of money under your bed. Money is with people. If you can't relate with people, you can't serve them. If you don't love people, you can't serve them. So the man was checking to find out, how is this woman's relationship with her neighbors? If the chaplain was to say, okay, go to your neighbors and borrow jerry cans, do you know what some people here will do? They will go from here, they will just go straight to their house. Why? Because they are not talking to their neighbors. They are not relating well. Relationship with people. Love for people. If you don't love people, you can't serve them. And if you can't serve people, you can't get money. The woman went, and we are told she borrowed how many? Plenty. That means she could serve. She can relate with people. And it's after checking those things, but there was a problem she did there. Later I will explain it. She went and answered all those issues. Then the prophet now gave her what to do. So you only give a person the skills to do business or show him the business to do after you have made sure that his relationship with God is in order, his mind has been transformed, that he sees life correctly, and then he can relate well with people. Then you now give him what to do, and he will succeed. He said, enter your room, close your door, you and who? Your children, next generation. Because what that man is trying to do is that, look, he wants to break the cycle of poverty, cycle of lack in that family. So if they had told the woman only to go and walk and not include the children, she could walk, get the oil and pay and what have you. But what happens? The children will still continue the same lifestyle. But to break that chain, the children must also be raised to have the same mindset. And that's why some of us are going around trying to educate people about these issues. And that was why I said what I said earlier, that if you prevent your children from walking, you are a wicked person. The best legacy you can leave for your children, the best thing that you can ever think of leaving for your children is the attitude to walk. If you don't raise your children to become people who can walk, you've cheated them. You leave them houses, even before you die, they sell them. You leave them cars, few years from now, the old model doesn't look anything anymore. But if you leave them with the attitude for work, the right mindset about life, whatever they want, they can get. When I go to churches, I usually tell them, I said, friends, when I look at the future of this country, I look at the future of the church in this country, fear grips me. But God has his own way, because there are always the remnants. If not, the way we are raising our children, the kind of generation we are raising, fear catches me. Small boy was asked, when you grow up, what do you want to become? The boy said, I want to be senator. Eh? Senator? He said, yes, now, see uncle, he didn't have anything. But when he became a senator, see the cars, the houses he has built, and what have you. They want to get wealth without work. And the young girl who was standing there said, and you, my dear, what will you want to be when you grow up? You know what the girl said? I want to marry him. She wants to be senator's wife now. You know, see how they carry them around? Raise your children to have the mentality to work, be value creators, and that they should be entrepreneurs. If all you do is teach your children to become entrepreneurs, and they're able to live lives of entrepreneurs, you can die in peace. Because whatever it is that they need, they will get. Whatever it is, they will get. So he told the woman, walk with your children. That's the way of passing the baton. Walk with your children. And he told us something, close the door. Many of us, we talk too much, we leak. You have an idea before you know itself. Everywhere you broadcast it. There are many people who don't have access to ideas. God releases ideas to his children. There are many who don't. The moment you talk, the enemy can have, because he uses your words. The enemy uses your words to deal with you. Be careful about the things that you do. Walk with your children. And as they were walking and walking, bring Chikan. He said, Mama, Chikan, don't finish. Uh-oh. You know where that problem is? Lack of vision. She might have looked at the numbers she collected and said, this one, by the time we fill this one, well, you go pay daddy's debt, and the rest we can eat. But it's not just about you and the debt you have. Generations to come. We must be thinking future, vision. Many of us are living without vision. Whatever we are asking you to do now, we're not just talking about you for yourself, but for the next generation. The church must remain tomorrow. But the church can't remain tomorrow if we are not raising these younger ones. These younger ones, we give you the baton and you can't run with the race, run the race. There's trouble tomorrow. And so whatever it is we are doing today, we should not be doing it only for ourselves, but also the next generation. Think about the next generation. The unemployment problem that we have today, one of the things that I did when I left government work was I was doing recruitment for organizations. And young people will come, and some of the people who will want to recruit people, they openly tell you, we don't want this kind of people, we don't want people from here, we don't want this one. They are employing their own. So if we don't have businesses, who will employ our own? As Christians, we need businesses because we have young ones coming up. The reason why our young people are idle today is because we don't have the banks where they can deposit their talents before they graduate to start their own businesses. But the young people also have problems. Is that not so? The mindset you carry, as I said, you want to be senator tomorrow. Work is a necessity. Said the oil seas. She went to the prophet said, go sell the oil. So if you are producing value but you can't sell, no money. You must know how to sell. And she told the one, go sell, pay your debts, and live on the rest. You know what that is? Stewardship of money. Money management. You could make money, but if you don't manage it, you won't see anything. You won't go far. So there is what we call the 4 M's of money. Financial literacy. That's what that thing is addressing. Many of us don't really know what money is. We go to school, we have degrees full back, but we don't know money. That's why we're having financial problems. So financial literacy is part of them, part of the things that we must teach our children. Our brothers on the other side, you see this tele or the trade they send their children to, it's business school. They know money, they know what profit is. I'm sure if I ask some of our young children who are even graduating next year, what is profit? They may not know. That's basics of financial literacy. The 4 M's of money, I want you to write it down so that every time you earn, even if it's 100 naira, take the money through what we call the money cycle. One day we'll come and do seminar on that here at Chaplain. Money cycle. What is a money cycle? First is you must make money. Make money, how do you make money? You create value. Then you maximize money. Maximizing money is using money for what it's meant for. Then you multiply money. You manage money and you multiply money. 4 M's. Make money, multiply, maximize, manage. Arrange them according to how you want it. But the 4 M's of money is what financial literacy is. If you don't do that, you won't see more. Because the Bible is very clear about it. Because you are not faithful with the little that you have been given, you can't see more. And faithfulness is management. He told the woman, go sell the oil, pay your debts. Your debts are that part of your money that you earn that is not your own. This is something you need to know from the word go. Every money that comes your way, not all of it belongs to you. Well, to start with, the whole of the money is not your own. That's why you need to manage it. And God is very clear about how we should use money in the Bible. Matthew chapter 25. There are 3 parables there. All of them are talking about money, how to manage money. Very quickly, the first one is the 10 brides. These ladies who are waiting for a groom. It reveals to us one way by which we are expected to use the money we earn. Said 5 bought oil plus extra. 5 did not buy extra. That tells us all the money that comes your way, you must take a part and invest in the reason for why you are waiting in the world. Who is the groom we are waiting for? Jesus. You must get a part of the money you earn and invest in the reason for why you are waiting. And we have been given that one very clearly. Tithes, offerings, kingdom projects. We must give for this part of what is expected of us. Kingdom projects. The second parable, there's that of talents. Say the people traded with their talents. They use part of what they earn to create value for other people, and they earn more. Every money you earn, friends, part of it must go into investment. You must invest. And investment enables you to earn more money. Most of us don't know this. We have certificates of all up to PhD plus. But when it comes to money, 0. That's why we're having challenges. I was telling them somewhere, if I had known some of these things that I knew when I was younger, when I left school, can you imagine what could have happened if when you left school in the 19 what? And the salary then, if you were investing, even in simple things like land. I remember one of our ogas in those days, when they travel, sometimes he even sleeps in his car. I say, how about, Oga, this year, what can't be this one? He said, come here, my dear. I'm thinking of the future. I said, what does that mean? He said, I won't be in this position forever. I'm now strong. I can afford to maybe put myself under some small stress. But a time is going to come when I'll be an old man. I can't take those pressures anymore. That's the time I need comfort. And part of the money I'm earning today is what will take care of me tomorrow. But as it is, it will not be. Because it's like seed. If I sow it, I will earn more tomorrow. And this man was buying plots in Redfield. That time, 250 naira. Sometimes it got up to 2,000 naira per plot. And this man was buying, and we're laughing at him. 1 trouser, 1 shoe. And he will wash the thing looking very nice every time, but we'll just hear this man the same trouser every time. Some of us buy cars. What have you? But do you know what's happening? The man is now old. I think it's about 90-something now. Many of his friends have already gone. And why have they gone? Some now had life kill them. Not be death, I'm telling you. Stress of life. Actually, one of the things that I'm doing now, because of these discoveries that I've made, is preparing for retirement. I run trainings on preparing for retirement because I discovered that there are many people who are dying before their time because of hard life in retirement. This man, believe me, he sold one of his plots. Some of the areas he had, somewhere in Rayfield. This guy sold, I think it was an area he bought, 500 million. At old age, with 500 million, if you sleep mad till tomorrow, nothing happens. Because do you know that when you have financial issues that you have not sorted out, you can't even sleep? Rat move, you go to say, now the bill collector don't come. I'm telling you. So we need, you need to be stable in these areas of life. And you are the one with it. He said, pay your debts. Manage your money. And the time to do that is now. Yesterday, day before yesterday, I was in a seminar. And somebody was asking me when we were talking of something. They say, oh God, this is where they talk, not they walk. Oh. See, civil servant, how much did they pay him? And we are talking about all these issues. How much will he eat? How much will he, what have you? And I said, that's the problem, my dear. You will never get to a point when they will pay you the salary you want. But whatever they give you, know that part of it is fruit, part of it is seeds. If you are able to sow the seed, with time, you will no longer need the ogasep, the master who pays you salary. But you will continue to be a slave until when he no longer needs you and kicks you out and bring a stronger Jackie. Then you now start crying that the salary was being paid was too small, I couldn't do anything. No, it's about managing what you have. That's why he told her, pay your debts, live on the rest. Many of us don't know this. So invest. Then the last but not the rich is provide for the poor. And the poor, the needy, the first needy in your life, family. 1 Timothy 5:8 says, if any cannot provide for his family, he is worse than an unbeliever. Provide for your family. Men, listen to this. If you can't provide for your family, God will not bless anything you do. Genesis 18. Go and read it. Verse 18. God told Abraham, for I know how you will bring up your family, and because of that, I will bless everything you do. You want blessings on your life? You want blessings in your business? Bring up your family right. And the first requirement there is provide for them. Briefly, this is it about what we are talking about. Why you must be an entrepreneur. The summary of it all is so that you can live life the way life is supposed to be lived. You must be an entrepreneur. Well, that's the key that opens up the door for you. So my prayer for you is that even though the time is short, we've not said much, but please go and do more research on this. And you will find out that this God that we serve is so good. And he has provided for us for everything we need. But he has principles. He has principles. God will not break them. But his grace, which allows the sun to shine on the wicked, the rain to fall on the wicked, just as the good, is what is sustaining most of us. But he wants us to live beyond grace because there are needs that we need to meet. For that to happen, you must be an entrepreneur. And for you to live the life of an entrepreneur, you need skills. You need skills. So if it's a course you are reading as a student, the first thing you must ask yourself, I said this yesterday, this course where they read, which problem am I going to solve when I graduate? Because if you can't answer that question, then you are wasting time. So that every lecture you attend, you'll be asking yourself, what this man is teaching, what they are saying, how will it help me become who I have been called to become? If you've been called to be a teacher, you are going to solve problems of knowledge. Is that not so? So ask yourself, the lectures you attend, how is this going to help me to become a teacher? telling them I met one young girl and I was asking her, what are you doing now? And say, oh, I'm in the Polytechnic. Oh, you're in the Polytechnic. What course are you reading? So I'm reading local government administration. Ah, you want to become local government chairman, right? He said, no, sir, now the course where they give me be that. Now the course they give you be that. So you're just reading, saying, now the certificate she wants. Certificate is nothing, especially in this generation. It's about what problem can you solve for society. That's what gives you room in society. I went to one house, I saw they were calling one boy diploma. I said, why would they diploma not be certificate? He said, no, be so, the mama go Polytechnic. She couldn't finish because she became pregnant. So when she gave birth to the child and they were looking for a name, the grandmother said, which name would I diploma? The mama go look for diploma, see diploma where she bring. So, it's not about certificate. It's not about certificate. It's about what you can do. And what you can do starts with who you are first before what the skills. And somebody asked a very powerful question yesterday, and I'll close with that. He said, the Igbo style. And I said, hey, this man want to release our secret too. Because you know, say me na Igbo man ba. My name na Chikan now. Yes. Igbos have this strategy of serve master for 7 years. And they will set you up. Is that not so? They call it a big boy or something. Do you know that is the perfect system of education? Because it includes theory and practicals, which we talk of as the making of. So by the time Chinedu served Okonkwo for 7 years, if we don't, he has been made a businessman. That's why Chinedu will leave and go and start a business even bigger than Okonkwo's own. And what I love about the system is that by the time Okonkwo trains 3, 4, 5, 7 of them, if Okonkwo gets problem with his business, those boys will come together and kickstart him again. That's how we are supposed to live as Christians. Relationship with others. Raising younger people. So I tell old people, those who are our age, old people, I say, look, if you look back and you cannot see any young person that you have raised, you have failed. You have failed. What young people tell me everywhere I go is, Oga, this thing we are trying to learn and we hold the ladder for them, make them climb up. But by the time they climb up, they take the ladder along with them. I said, don't worry, by the time they take the ladder, they no go come back. Oh? That's why many people today, you see, they make name during their time, what have you and the rest, but give them just few years, what happens? They fizzle out. Why? Because they didn't raise anybody that they handed the baton to. That's why he told the woman, walk with your children. The team that wins relay race in a relay race is not the team that only runs faster. Yes, they need to run faster, but they need to also train and have people that they can give the baton to. Baton exchange is key. And that's why, friends, my brothers and sisters, and I'm speaking to you young people also because one day you'll be our age. We're not born like this. We grow up to be old. And you are also growing up. So make sure you give room to younger people. Mentor. Mentor young people. Coach young people. Life is generational. May the Lord help us to be able to go and do this. The Lord help us to go and do this. Thank you very much.